everybody. This is Courtney Holmes and Allison Redmond from the
Hi.
FilmingLife Academy. And if you're new to the show, this is a podcast for the FilmingLife Academy. And the FilmingLife Academy is a filmmaking school for photographers. So we teach mostly family photographers, but all other genres are welcome. We teach them how to make films, and we come at this from a very logical approach, very simplified approach for photographers. So we are speaking your language, and that's what we do. Our goal is to help you make films for your family, for other people's families, or for whatever creative purposes you choose. So that's a little bit about us. Allison, tell me what's been happening with you.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm in Texas right now, not in Saudi. And I have flown here for 2 films, but the one that I'm most excited about is a birth film. So I am just on call.
Just waiting.
Just waiting for the birth mom to give birth. And so any day now.
Any day now. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is my first birth film. And so I'm a little nervous, but I'm also really excited because I feel like a few months ago, I'm not confident, but now I feel really confident about just really excited for the creative challenge it's going to be. So yeah, I'm just waiting around. A little unnerving.
And what did you do in preparation for this birth?
Class? Or yeah, I've been actually Kaylee's class, which is coming. I think you just announced it recently. It's going to be added to the membership. So now, as a part of being in Filming Life, you get access to Kaylee's birth films class. And so I've been reading through that again, and it's amazing. Kaylee is just
so good,
incredible. She's done, I think, over 70 births or something like that.
Yeah,
which is unreal. So I read through that. I've been watching all sorts of different people's birth films just for inspiration. But I feel like it's having done a lot of family films. I know it's a different subject matter, but the techniques are going to transfer, which is why I feel really confident in it. So We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of unknowns, but the technical side of things, I feel very confident in. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, sitting in Houston, working at coffee shops, waiting.
Oh, that's so good. If anyone missed that, Kaylee's birth masterclass is going to be added to the membership on the 6th of February. So that's not very far away. And we've got several people who've done the class before and have just absolutely loved it. And so if you are out there and interested, it's really targeted at people who are already making films that are interested in starting to do birth films. So it's perfect for someone like Allison or myself, who are not, regularly doing births, but if we are interested in starting to do them, then that is such a fantastic resource. Kaylee is such a wealth of knowledge, and she's just so kind and compassionate herself. She's just so perfect for births.
What I love about it is she addresses like every different scenario too, like from a home birth to birth centers to the hospital births to how to work with midwives to how to marketing. I mean, it covers everything. So with birth, there's a lot of unknowns, and she's done it all. She covers it all in the class. So yeah. It's been really helpful for me.
Yeah, good. So FilmingLifeAcademy.com. If you are interested, go and have a look and join us if you are not a member already.
What about you? What's going on in your life right now?
Oh, what's happening with me? Well, we just moved, and that's been kind of chaotic. It's summer here in Australia, so it's really, really hot, and we've been having this heat wave. It's like temperatures over 100 consistently every day. So you don't really want to spend much time outside. Yesterday, I was clearing out the garage because I was so sick of not being able to park my car in the garage. So I was trying to move boxes and just like make space for one car.
Right.
and I was dripping with sweat. It was so gross. Like, it was just, it's not fun, but had to be done. We're mostly unpacked. The house itself is mostly unpacked, but we'll be moving again in 12 months. So I'm not unpacking everything, but just as much as I can, or that makes sense. I had a shoot the other day, and that was with a mom and her son. It was a photography session. That was really lovely. I've had a chance to finish editing a couple of films, which has been really good. I hate feeling behind on that, but Christmas, man, it just knocked me over. And the move.
Oh my goodness, I'm the same way. So behind.
I think it's so behind. I think that next year I'm gonna be like, okay, cutting off in October. Like, I thought cutting off at November was gonna be okay, but I just think maybe October, like last client, October, gives me time to actually finish everything before Christmas instead of then it hanging over my head all over Christmas. So.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That's my plan. I can't, it's really hard for me to say no, so I don't know how that'll go. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at. I've got a few sessions coming up in February, and I'm doing a film for a photographer who I just adore, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah. Oh, and my kids start school next week, and I thought Cooper started on Tuesday. He starts on Wednesday.
Well done. Mom of the year right there.
I'm winning at life right now. Seriously.
Wait, so how are you feeling about them starting school? Are you okay?
I mean, it's really bittersweet. Like, I'm gonna miss them so much. I love them. I love having them home, and there's just they're gorgeous kids. But yeah, it'll be nice to kind of have dedicated time while they're at school to get stuff done. So I'm looking forward to that. But Lydia, it's her first year, she's starting kindergarten. So
oh my goodness, that's crazy.
How do I feel about that? I don't know. It's my last. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sad, but it's okay. It's good. It's good. Sad.
When she comes home excited, you'll feel better, Maybe.
I will if she comes home excited. That's the thing. I'm expecting it's going to be more like, I miss my old school. I don't want to go to this school anymore. They don't do this like my old school. Like, it's just going to be that.
Right.
And I mean, she complained about going to preschool. So like, the stubborn is strong with this one. So we'll see how she goes. I don't know. So yeah, that's been happening. So in terms of Academy news stuff, we've had a few new people pass the assessment for Filming Lifers. So
exciting.
A shout out for them. So Valina Machiera, Katie Allen, and Grace Kaluki. I'm not sure how to say that. But congratulations. We are so excited.
Good job, ladies.
You guys passed the assessment. And so if you're out there and you're listening to this and you are wondering what the heck a Filming Lifer is, that's just a cute name that we've come up with for the people who have completed the core curriculum and have been a member for at least 4 months, and they have done an assessment, which has basically just tested their knowledge on the core things that we teach here at the Academy. And you have got to pass this assessment in order to become a Filming Lifer. And you get some perks once you become a Filming Lifer. And these are the people that, in our eyes, we see them as kind of the up-and-coming filmmakers in the industry in terms of family films, at least. So we're really excited to have them, and we will link their details on our on the show notes on the blog. So if you want to go and have a look at that, you can see show notes at FilmingLifeAcademy.com. If you go to the blog, you'll be able to find it there. We always post our show notes for the podcast in that area of the website. So, so let's talk about what's been happening in the Student Hub. Allison, what's been going on with the 6 Film Challenge? Give us all the details. First of
Yeah,
all,
so we
tell us
start.
what the 6 film challenge is.
So yeah, we started in November, December, and we divided the year starting in November, December into 6 themes. And so the first one was together. And so we asked students in the months of November, December to create a film around the topic of together. And so I'll talk about that in a second. But our next challenge, our next theme that is right now, January, February, is the theme of seasons. That's kind of a broad theme, which is what we wanted. And we want people to, what is your interpretation of the word seasons? And we have students from all over the world, from Australia, New Zealand, Europe, North America. So it's going to be really fun to see what that looks like in different areas, or you could be super creative about it and do something a little different. So kind of the world is your oyster here. So we can't wait to see what people submit. And that theme is due at the end of February. But we had our first theme finish up, and that was the theme of together, and that was from November, December, and we had I think we had quite a few submissions for it. I can't remember the exact number, but they were all incredible. It was really fun for us to go back and watch those and kind of see what their interpretations of together. And the one that kind of stuck out to us as representing the theme really well was one of our students named Molly Hewitt. So Molly, thank you so much for submitting your film for that together theme. It was incredible. It made me cry, and very few films make me cry. And this one made me cry. And it was not what I was expecting to be. It wasn't the typical what you would, picture together around a table kind of a film. It was a film about her daughter-in-law. And it was an event, kind of an evening party that the friends and family of the daughter-in-law and their family threw for her. She's been through a really rough couple of years with a leukemia diagnosis and a birth that was hard. And so Molly, our FilmingLife student, made this film at this event. And this event was, it was kind of a charity fundraiser. Is that right?
It was a fundraiser. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser, but she did an incredible job. She kind of filmed the speeches. She filmed the people, the friends and family who were there to support this family who's had a rough time. But you could just see the energy in the room was a celebration of how incredible this woman is in her life, despite the really bad things that have happened. And after Molly posted that film, she updated us just today, actually, with a really great update that made me so happy to see. I think from that from that celebration evening, they raised quite a bit of money for her, which was awesome. But she also is cancer free now, which is the best news ever. So thank you for sharing that, Molly, and thank you for creating that film. One of the things I loved most about this film, and Molly said this, was she started at FilmingLife, I think about 6 months ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or so. Yeah. And she was able to make this film after 6 months. Like, that's amazing. I don't even know if I would have been able to do that. Like, well done, Molly. And I love that she didn't let her doubts of, maybe, or like, oh, I don't think I can do this quite yet, but she just did it. And what an incredible piece for, her to be able to share and to have, to celebrate her daughter-in-law. So anyway, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
she did a great job.
It was amazing. And she really has grown so much. And I said this to her in the student hub, but I think it's really easy for us to document the easy times. Like it's easy to document times when they're good. It is so hard to document when things are hard. It takes a really strong, compassionate person to be able to do that. And seeing that from her just really was a treasure for us, I think, to be able to watch and witness. And the fact that she was able to do that just says a lot about her. So we were really excited to watch that, and just we both thought it was really beautiful. So it was a clear winner there for the theme of together. So well done, Molly.
Yeah. What else has been striking you on the student hub? I know there's been a lot of camera and gear questions recently.
There has, and specifically people have been wanting us to talk about mirrorless cameras. So
yes,
I'm happy to talk about my experience, which might seem like you're like, what? That's how you think about it. So I I borrowed a Sony A7 III last year from a friend and tried it, and I I really liked it a lot. And I remember shooting, like doing some photos of the kids in really low light in our bedroom. And I just was in love with the photos. And I
Yeah.
love the color, like funny as it seems, like there's always this like, who's got the better color, Sony or Canon? And I think that a lot of times when I'm shooting in natural light, Canon wins hands down, but in low light, I feel like Sony does such a fantastic job with the way that I was shooting, which was I was using artificial light. And I had this like blue and teal thing going on. Blue and teal are the same color, aren't they? Like there's an orange and teal. So, so I loved them, right? And so I was like, okay, I think maybe I should try this. And so I tried it. I bought the body, Sony f3, and then I got a lens, which was the 28 f2. And it's been great for photos. I've been taking photos with it, and it's been great. But then, just like I had issues with Fuji, I was trying to manually focus with as I was shooting video, and I was finding it so hard to nail focus. Like, and it couldn't have been user error. Like, it wasn't me, I swear. And so I did some research. Francesca Russell, who's one of our students at the Academy, had posted a link to a blog. I think it was a blog that said why fly-by lenses suck or something. I can't remember why they don't work or whatever for video. And so I read that. I had read that before, but it didn't sink in when I read it before I tried manually focusing myself. So this was the second time I had read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's why. And so then I started thinking, okay, well, so it's the issue then is the lens. And then I was like, well, okay, maybe I can teach myself to autofocus. Well, the video capability of this camera is out of this world. It's so good. And there is a reason why so many filmmakers use Sony mirrorless cameras, and I get it 100%.
Yeah.
But then when I think about how I shoot, which is always with manual focus, and I can't see myself changing to autofocus ever.
That's a big statement.
I've tried. There's a couple of things that it does, and it does face detection when you're in autofocus, which is fantastic, but it's not as great when you have multiple faces in the frame. And so many times I've got multiple faces in the frame. And so it's like, how does the camera know who I want it to be focused on?
Right.
It doesn't. And so that's my biggest issue with it. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I have the MC11 converter, which is the Sony to Sigma lenses converter. And that has been good for photos, but for video, it's so
clunky, right?
It's really front heavy. And so the lens is so big against the Sony camera, which is so small, which then defeats the purpose of shooting mirrorless, which is that it's supposed to be lightweight.
Right.
I've got this really heavy lens on it just so that I can manually focus. And not only that, but the actual focal ring is then further away from the base of the camera. So the base of my hand can't rest on the base of the camera to stabilize. It has to rest on the base of the lens. And the lens kind of comes in a little bit when it comes, attaches to the body. So I have less space and my hand is at a weird angle. And I'm just like, no, it just doesn't work.
The ergonomics of it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound good at all.
No, my hands are not big enough. Maybe if I had bigger hands, then maybe I could do it. But it just doesn't. And I'm sad to say that, but it's just true for me. And that's just how I shoot. And I think that this is something that I think is like a lesson for everything. It's like, yes, it's an amazing camera for video, but only if it suits the way that you shoot. So if your preference is to manually focus all the time, there is not a single Sony lens that you can use because they are all like that. And now I'm going to get into what I mean by like that, why it was hard, because I haven't explained that yet. But the reason why it's hard is because they're fly-by-wire lenses, which means that they send an electronic signal to the camera to change the plane of focus. Whereas on a Sigma lens or on a Canon lens, it changes physically the components within the lens to change the plane of focus. And so on Sigma, Canon, and Nikon are all changing that physical element. And so when you turn the lens and you turn a certain amount, you can pretty much be sure that it will be accurate for what you're used to. And so you kind of know how much you need to turn as you're changing your distance from your subject. Whereas with Sony manual, with a Sony lens, a fly-by-wire lens, same with Fuji, they are, the change is more of an electronics thing. So it sends a signal. So it's not always accurate, and it might lag. It might go, so, because when I talk about rack focus in the Academy, which is where you change the plane of focus from one point to the other by manually changing the lens on the focal ring. You can have that quick or slow, right? But when you're using a lens like a Sony lens, then it doesn't quite match up that same speed. So it might be faster, or it might take a minute to catch up or whatever, but it doesn't land. When you land, it's really the landing that's the thing that's the least accurate. It's when you try to land the focus, it takes a second because it's not mechanical. And it can be inaccurate. And so it's frustrating. And if you've ever tried to manually focus with a Sony lens, you will know what I'm talking about. It's not, it's very frustrating to do. And so I think that for me, it's been sort of deciding like, that's just not what works for me, because I like the look of out of focus stuff too. So like, a lot of shots, I want to try and feel like a memory, so I'm going to make it blurry, but I wanted a specific amount of blur. Like I still want to be able to make out shapes and all of that. And so for me, this doesn't work. And if I ever do want to do autofocus, the Mark IV does autofocus pretty good too. So yeah.
I feel like this is a really big statement. Like,
I know. And I almost don't want to make it because I'm scared that it might be a backlash.
For someone who is wanting to learn your style, this is a big thing. But I think you should also address who this is good for too, because this does work for some people.
It's fantastic for anybody who wants to autofocus. I mean, you can look at a million wedding filmmakers out there who are using Sony, and they use autofocus. And if you're using a gimbal, it's great for that. I mean, the autofocus on it is insane. Like, it's so good. And there's so much functionality in this camera that I love that I miss by shooting Canon. And it's great for people who are starting out, who are not already used to manually focusing. Then this can work for you.
But it's not going to give their films a look that's might be similar to your film, is what you're kind of saying.
I would say possibly not. Everybody has their own way of doing things. And so I'm sure that there's probably a way that someone who uses the camera could make it look similar. But for me, it's like, I don't want to retrain myself to do that. Like, I just don't have time to try to figure out how I can make autofocus look like my manual focus. I'm sure that it's possible. Like, I'm sure it's possible, but it's not exactly the same. And you do have to be careful, because it will hunt around if you're not. And that's the thing that I think is the most noticeable, is when the autofocus is hunting around for where to focus. I can see that. It's so visible in people's films when I watch them. So, and that's not something you get at all with manual focus. If you are in manual focus, then So there's one lens that came out recently, which is the 24 1.4 G Master lens, that I feel like might be okay. and I nearly
No.
got it,
Okay.
but because it has a switch on the lens that switches from manual to autofocus, but it's still a fly-by-wire lens. So I don't know that the manual focus would be any better. It's just that you can switch it off on the lens, which would make it easier than trying to, well, I guess, yeah, I'm not really sure, because I have a custom button set up on the Sony to turn off, to change manual focus too. So I mean,
Right.
I can turn off manual focus just by pressing a button. I don't have to switch it off on the lens, but I think the G Master series of lenses is probably a little bit better for manual focus. Whether it's as good as what I currently have, I don't know. I need to rent one and try one, but there aren't any in the that I can try right now. They're bringing them in, so they're not in stock anywhere.
Got it.
But so, maybe in like a month or two, I'll come back and be like, hey, the G Master lenses are great. I just don't know. They're also $2,000. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't, and like I say with everything, I think you need to try things out yourself. And I think that everybody works differently, and what works for one person is not going to be what works for another person. And so
right. Don't go sell all your Sony equipment.
This is not a blanket statement from me endorsing one over the other. It's just my experiences so far. I don't love manually focusing with the Sony lenses, and I haven't heard of a lens that I could. And now I could continue using the converter and then use other lenses to manually focus with, but then it defeats the purpose of using a Sony.
Right.
And so, yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts. It's kind of long-winded, but that's
I think that's fascinating. And I think it's unexpected a little bit. So I'm sure people will be interested to kind of hear that. Especially.
I know, because everybody's like, Sony is the best. And I know we have students who use it and love it.
A lot of students that use it. Yeah.
They do great. I look at that and I'm like, why can't I? But it's like, I just don't want to retrain myself. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I have found it hard on this lens, this Sony lens. And from what I understand, they're all the same. So, I could be wrong on that, but that's just been my experience so far.
Right. And there's something to be said for the weight and the ergonomics. Like I was saying, I mean, our hands hurt after these sessions on a good day. It's
right.
So you gotta have something that works for you physically with the amount of hours we're putting in.
Yeah. And I think I just had hoped that I could completely switch over. Like that was my hope, was I was like, because this is perfect to just take out with the kids. And I really just wanted one camera that does everything and is perfect for me. There is no perfect, but that's what I had hoped for. And I just, unless I like have the time to take a few months off and just focus on doing it, and then, which I don't have the time for that. And I find myself always reaching for Canon when it's something important. So I think that says something, right? So, and it also comes down to like your comfort level of what you're used to doing. Like I know Canon like the back of my hand, so changing is just hard. And although I've tried to do it, it's that lens thing about it just makes me think it's not worth my time to try and keep making this work when what I have works perfectly fine. So it doesn't make sense for me to try to change. But I'm not saying that people who are using Sony should change to anything else, because I don't think they should. I think you should. It's sort of like a lesson for me that I'm sharing with other people, that the grass is not always greener on the other side. And it's really important to just kind of stick with what you have sometimes. It's really good to just sort of, appreciate.
Was there one like particular student's film that you remember that was shot on a Sony that really stuck out to you in the past, or was this just kind of something you?
Yeah, Pam Corman's film that she did with the Sony, I thought was amazing.
And that's right. That was incredible.
Yeah, that really sold me on it. I was like, the colors on this are incredible. And the depth of field and the way that she shot it, but it was a one person kind of thing. So it wasn't like a family. So I really need to sit down and watch some films shot on Sony with families that are like multiple people in the frame and how they do the focus between them and all of that. So I'd be really, really interested to see. If you know one, show me, hit me up, tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so let's move on away from the stuff. And let's talk about the retreat, because everybody's asking about
Oh my goodness.
And
I know. I'm so excited.
We need to share what we have planned so far, which is super.
We have big plans.
Big plans. So if you don't know this already, Allison and I and one of our other educators, Kylie, will be running a FilmingLife retreat in Australia, and location is still to be decided. We're still kind of working that out, but it's going to be kind of in the Sydney area, maybe a couple hours north, like Central Coast area, or it might be a little bit further south. We'll just sort of see what we can find, maybe the mountains. I don't know yet. And we are looking at the 20th of October to the 24th. So we are thinking like a full 3-day retreat here, which is just, and the reason for that is because we started putting this schedule together and we're like, we can't do this in 2 days. Like
it's not possible. There's too much good stuff to talk about.
You know, so we really wanted to do something and create a space and an environment for people who are really, really wanting to make family films their business. Like, this is not just well, first of all, this is not a how-to kind of retreat. This is not a basics retreat. This is not for the beginner filmmaker. This is for people who are already making films. They really want to make this part of their business, like a big part of their business.
Yes.
So there's going to be a heavy emphasis on business at the end, but and also a really heavy emphasis on practical application. And I think that's what makes this so cool.
I am so excited about that part of it.
Yes. So our plan is that in the evening of the first day, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of what we have in mind for our schedule. So in the evening of the first day, we are going to go through, I'm going to personally go through client prep and what I call storyboarding without a storyboard. And then Allison's going to cover client prep and capturing audio. And so what we mean by that is how to create an environment in a family film situation that gives you the best chance of capturing good audio, because oftentimes, and this happens with me all the time, I'll get home and I'll be like, the TV was on and the dryer was running and there was noise next door and I got no audio because of all of that. And so it's kind of like helping you prep your client in a way that's going to help you get good audio, if audio is important to you, wanting to capture that. And then day 2 in the morning, we're talking about switching between stills and video, but this is our big like family shoot day. So we'll do like a quick instruction on switching between stills and video, and then we'll go straight into a family shoot. And we're going to separate a family shoot. We're going to separate into 2 groups, and Allison's going to take 6. So we're going to have 12 people max at the retreat. Allison's going to take 6 and I'm going to take 6. And each person is going to shoot a family. So we'll have a model family, and I don't know details on that yet, where that will be or what they'll be doing or any of that. But each person is going to get at least 20 minutes shooting time themselves with either me or Allison side by side, so that we're there with you while you're shooting and we are walking around with you and helping you and guiding you through that process. So we'll be either shooting with you at the same time, or we'll be watching you and giving you some guidance there. And then that'll be the morning. Then we'll break for lunch, and then we'll do another family shoot in the same way, except you'll swap. So you'll get then 20 minutes with the other teacher. So it'll be, if you were with me in the morning, then you'll be with Allison in the afternoon, kind of thing. And so you'll get 40 minutes. Each of you will get 40 minutes in total of shoot time with a real family. And if you're not shooting, then you're standing back and you get to watch while we are instructing the other people, while we are shooting ourselves. And I think that this is going to be a really great thing. And so each of these shoots will last 2.5 hours. So it doesn't drag on for too long, but it's enough time for you to watch other people get instruction and also get instruction hands-on yourself, which is so good.
You and I have both been doing this recently with mentor students, and it's so good when you're there with somebody and you're not having to share somebody with somebody else. It's just you and the teacher, and you're working a scene together. Like it is so invaluable. To have that unshared time.
And we really just feel like that's such an important element that we want to bring to this and spend time on. So that's super important. We wanted to do. Then in the evening of that day, we'll do our first critique. So we'll have dinner, and then this is being a lot of work, just FYI. Come and be prepared to do a lot of work. So in the evening, we're going to do an hour critique session, which we'll do 4 people over the critique session, and we'll all be in the room. So all 12 of us, but we'll just run through 4 people in that hour, and you'll bring a film that you've already done, and we'll sit through and critique your film. You'll get to watch other people's films get critiqued, and you'll get a critique of your film. And if you've never had a film critique, it is so beneficial just to be able to sit through and even just watching other people's critiques, so beneficial. So
it is.
And then the next day, day 3 morning, we're going to go through a couple of topics that Allison and I are specifically going to cover. So music and audio with Allison, and then color correction and color grading with me for an hour. Each of those will be about an hour. And then Kylie's going to do a creativity session on something that she's super passionate about. So she's fantastic for that. And then we'll do lunch. And then the afternoon of day 3 is going to be all editing. So it's going to just go straight into editing. And what we're going to do there is we're going to, again, split up into groups. So Allison will be in one room, I'll be in another, and Allison and I are each going to edit one of our own films. And it's going to be footage that we had shot before. We'll be bringing it to you that day, and we'll have a specific section of that we're going to cover in that 3-hour session. And it's really going to be, again, very hands-on. We're going to ask for your help and advice in troubleshooting. We're going to talk you through what we would do to troubleshoot any issues that we are having. You're going to get to see how we map things out, how we edit, how we plan things. The assembly part of the film is what's the most crucial part there. And so that's really what we're covering. It's that assembly and storytelling component. And so you'll have 3 hours there with us. And then in the evening, we'll do a critique again. So with another 4 people will get their films critiqued. Then the next day, we're going to go into, so we're on day 4 now. So we're going to do editing practicum, which is where you're going to bring footage that you have shot before the retreat, and you're going to sit down and you're going to have an hour and a half in the morning. And I'll kick it off with like a bit of a, here are some things to be thinking about while you're doing this, but I want you to have footage from a scene or either the beginning or the middle or a specific scene of your film, or maybe it's the end, something that you've been working on that you want to be able to get some help with. You're going to bring a laptop, you're going to bring your footage, and you're going to edit your own footage. And we'll have an hour and a half dedicated to that. And Allison and I will be kind of walking around, and we'll be there to help answer questions if you have them. Kylie will be able to answer questions as well. And so if you're getting stuck on anything, then we'll be there. And it's just a really good opportunity to kind of just work side by side with each other and really be sitting down and get some hands-on support. So.
And it's after they've watched us do it. So it's, you can immediately apply maybe something that you picked up in watching editing into your edit or seeing your work on.
our biggest thing here is that we want to have this really thorough, here is what we do, and then let's apply it now. Let's apply it as soon as you learn it. And so that practical application of it is what we're really trying to focus on during this retreat. So after we finish the practicum side, we'll have a break, and then Allison is going to talk about marketing family films, and she is so perfect for that because she's booked out for next year, pretty much.
I am.
And this comes from, she lives in Saudi on a small compound with a small group of, a small community. And if there's anything that I hear from people, it's like, my town is too small, I can't get bookings. Well, I don't know.
Let me help you with that.
And I'll be there also chiming in with things as well, just as Allison will be doing with my talks too. We'll have lunch, and then in the afternoon, I'm going to cover pricing, and I'm going to need you to bring all your numbers with you because we are going to actually do the math, and we're going to sit down and we're going to work out how long it takes you to edit, how long, I'll have some questions that I send out beforehand just to make sure that, like, I need you to know these things before you come here.
Right.
And we're going to all sit down and do the math together. And we're going to help you figure out what a profitable price point is for your films that you're doing. And then we'll have a break. And then in the afternoon, we'll also do a bit of a business panel discussion. So it's going to be kind of like an open Q&A. You can ask questions. If anything that we haven't covered you want to ask about, then you can ask those things. And if there's time, I don't know yet if there's going to be time for this, but we might be doing some website reviews as well in there amongst all of that. In the afternoon. And then that evening we'll do the last hour critique, which will be the last 4 people. And so everybody will get a critique. Everybody will get time to shoot hands-on. Everybody will get time to edit with hands-on guidance as well. And then the last morning is pretty much just going to be the goodbye morning and, breakfast and all that. So that'll be pretty low key. So if you have to leave really early or you need to leave that evening, I guess you could. But in the morning, there won't be a lot happening. But we've got a pretty action-packed few days, I think. There's a lot going
so good.
We'll be putting the schedule up really soon for what you can expect to learn if you decide to come with us. We're just in the process of working out our pricing. It's going to be, it's 3 full days and it's going to include accommodation. We're just working out the finer details for that so that we can make sure our pricing is where it needs to be. For that and covering cost of accommodation and all that stuff. So we got to kind of work out exactly where that will be, but we promise we'll get that information out to you as soon as possible. There will be payment plan options if that's something that you need. So you can do installments. We'll probably open it up to like 3 or 4 installments. And it will, it'll all be announced really shortly. We'll try and get that information. We're trying to wrap up as many of the things that we can as quickly as possible because I know lots of people are really interested in that. So we want to get that out to you quickly.
Yay.
So yeah, that's the retreat.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too.
I get to go to Sydney. Yay. Yay.
Yes. So, I thought we would just sort of wrap this up with talking about a couple of films that we've done lately. So, Allison, I know you just put out a film with where there was a lot of audio and the parents were singing this gorgeous little lullaby.
Yeah.
Nice. Tell us about that and tell us about how you managed to get all of that because it was so good.
Yeah. So when they hired me for the film about 8 months ago, they just said they wanted the standard thing. And then about 2 months before, which is when I send out my client questionnaire, which you use as well. And it just gives you a lot more in-depth look into their family life, the routines, the things the kids say, things in the house that are important, places in the house they don't like. Anyway, I send that out about 2 months ahead. And she comes back to me and she's like, what's important to my family with the kids' ages that they are right now, my husband and I sing lullabies to the kids at special. And I would love if you could do that. And my knee-jerk reaction was, oh, no. I don't do bedtimes because the lighting is so terrible. And like, you know, which is a horrible knee-jerk reaction, but I honestly don't usually do them. It's just, you know, people usually hire you up till about dinner time and then you're done. So I was like, oh, okay. And so what I did was I had to think about it for a while. And then I got back to her and I said, okay, talk to me more about what this looks like. So she explained, you know, we go into the room after they're in pajamas and we take time putting all three to bed, and we sing about 3 lullabies over and over and over again, in French and in Spanish, because they're a trilingual family. And we just put the kids to bed, and it's really sweet. And I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. Can you imagine having like footage of your own parents singing lullabies to you? Like, nobody has that. Like, you know, I mean, nowadays we probably do, but I don't have that from when I was a kid. So like, I just thought about that. I was like, I have to do this. Like, I don't care if it's going to be artificial light. Like, I just need to get over it and make the best thing that I can do for them. But I actually like asked to go to her house ahead of time. And so one day, in the evening, I came by when it was dark ahead of time, and she showed me the kids' bedroom, and I looked around. I was like, oh, this is special. So I just gave her some tips about, what would work best for me. They just had some light issues. So I worked with her on that. And then I talked to her about the lullaby. I was like, how do you do this? Tell me ahead so I know what's going on. And so what I ended up doing was recording it as it was happening. But I knew the audio wasn't going to be good from that. I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. Kids are moving in their bed sheets and they're probably talking. I just knew it wouldn't be clear. But what I was able to do was get the kids singing, like, because they sing along with the mom and dad. So like the little boy singing. So I got audio and the footage of that happening with, you know, a little bit of background noise. But then as soon as that was done, I had brought my, Yeti Blue mic, you know, the one that we use sometimes for recording. Yeah. It's just a microphone. It's a nice microphone. I have subsequently purchased a Zoom H5, and I didn't have it at that time though. Yeah. So I just used a nice microphone. Yeti Blue is a great mic. So I brought that with me, and that mic has the ability to record dual at the same time. So one person on this side, one person on this side. So I set the mom and dad on a couch after the kids had gone to bed, and I smothered them in pillows. Yes. I wanted to take them to the car. Legitimately, I did, but they were really worried the kids would like wake up and come downstairs or whatever. And so like, I had to do it in the living room. So we covered with pillows, and I put the mic in the middle, and I was like, and I had my laptop, and I was just like, okay, let's sing. And so they sang a couple different songs for me, and I knew I'd only use one of them, but I had them sing a couple because they were really nervous. Yeah. So I recorded them singing, and then I used that, and I chose a song for the film that was really short, and it was just instrumental. And then I weaved in the footage of the kids singing with the film itself, and then I finished it off with just the solo parents singing as the end. And it made it over 4 minutes, but the song I actually chose was a real short song.
But you said to me that you had given them the key to sing it in.
Yeah, I did. So I knew ahead. I had chosen the song ahead. Mm-hmm. So, and I also, I knew the song ahead. So I knew the key I needed them to sing it in so that it would match with the song, which is a really nerdy, you know, I have a music ed background. I wanted it to match. It would really bother me if it wouldn't. So I was
it's so important that people know that, like,
right.
Because it's not just like, it just happened and it all sounded great. Like,
right. No. I had the song in my head, and I physically
that key.
Exactly. You know, I sang it to them first. I was like, this is whatever French song they were saying. I sang the first couple minutes, took the seconds to them. And then I was like, and go, your turn. Yeah. And they did. Yeah. So it worked out great.
But the fact that they
probably were like, why do we
stayed in key through that whole, it just blows my mind, because
I left out that they had good voices. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it was, awesome. You know, it was not the prettiest. I mean, it's artificial light for 60% of the film, but I don't care because I love that it's super personal and special for them. So, you know, the more audio you can get in your films, man, do it. There's nothing like it. You know, it's nothing like it. So yeah, that's mine. You've been doing something super creative recently too. Your GoPro underwater one was awesome. I love that you opened with that.
Yeah.
You know?
I was like, do I just like run into complete underwater, like beginning underwater, or do I like set it up?
Right.
And I just decided to open with the water because I just thought it was kind of cool. So
I love that.
yeah. So I used a GoPro, and everybody keeps asking me which one I have. It's the 6, I think, or the 7. Don't know.
I think you have the 6 because I have the 7.
Great.
So, yeah.
I have it's the 6. So many people are asking me, and then I was like doubting myself, and I haven't actually looked it up to see which one I bought because it doesn't say it on the thing. Like you can't just look at it and it says GoPro 6. Anyway, and so I was using that, and I was using a dome. Everybody's also wondering about that. I was using a dome. And a dome allows you to have like the over underwater look. It brings the water away from the lens, so it looks cool. You kind of have that over. And that first opening clip was just insane. Like to have them both doing that at the same time was
I know.
like magic that was not intentional. And I also didn't get in the water. And this is the cool thing about this, right? Because first of all, I felt the water was freezing. And the parents weren't getting in the water. And I was kind of like, oh, this just, I don't know. I don't do this a lot, right? And
right.
I was like, I'm just not sure. Like, I'm going to get in the water, and then I have to dry off, and then I'm going to be wet the rest of the time that I'm shooting.
Right.
For the rest of the, because I really, in my mind, thought that maybe we would do the pool like halfway through, or like
no, of course not.
First thing. That was the first thing. They were like, as soon as I got there, like, let's go swimming. I was like, oh, we're anxious to do this, aren't we? Okay. And so then I was like, I've got no idea what I'm going to get from this. And I just felt like if I got in the water, it was just going to be awkward. So I didn't. And then I'm like, how can I make this work without getting in the water and can still do this? And so I just like basically kneeled down on the edge of the pool and then put the GoPro in the water and just was guessing the whole time. And just
which you are doing with the GoPro.
You are anyway. That's right.
You're shooting blind. You can't see. It's ridiculous.
I was thinking, like, even if I was in the water right now, I forgot my goggles, so I'd have had to borrow.
You can't do it without goggles.
And I would just be guessing. Like, I can't actually, I think I can hold my breath underwater, but it's not that great. And in the past when I've done it, I'll like hold my breath and then float to the top, and I can't like, I can't keep low enough to get the footage that I want. Anyway, this is also my first time like filming with the GoPro in the water. So I just was doing it and hoping for the best. And I was like, well, if I don't get footage, I made sure that I used swapped to my Canon for other shots throughout that. So, and that was the other thing that was really good about it, was because I was able to mix that footage. And if I had been in the water, I think that would have been a lot harder for me, because I would have had to get up, dry myself, because I wouldn't want to like be holding my DSLR while I was wet. And so it would have been more challenging, I guess.
Right, totally.
And so this kind of allowed me to have more of a mixture of like moments as they're happening between GoPro and DSLR footage. And but I basically just put it down in the water and tried to keep it like halfway down, not all the way down. And for that first clip, and then there was another clip I was trying to get them like jumping in. And so here's the other thing, like I didn't give any direction whatsoever in this. In fact, I didn't give any direction like in the lead up to it either, because it was just very clear that the mom was like, we just want you to come document our afternoon however it is. And I'm like, great, that's what I'll do. That's what we did. There was I didn't say to the kids, hey, jump off here. I didn't say, hey, swim towards me. I didn't say go under the water. Like there was literally nothing. And so I was just trying to watch what they were doing and be there when it was happening. And So that was really cool. It was also really cool. I was shooting at 100 frames per second, and being able to slow it down that much was awesome. I just thought it was really cool. And it really suited the music. That song I love. So it was fun, and I'm so glad that it worked out. I'm really glad that it turned out okay. And I had, right before I edited that film, I was telling my friend Shelly that I would sell her my GoPro, and then I edited the film, and then I was like, actually, no.
Never mind.
GoPro, sorry.
That's awesome. No, definitely don't sell it. You did a great job. I loved it.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was really cool. I also really loved it because it's not often that I do like a shoot right at sunset. In a family's home, because it usually gets too dark inside.
Totally, yeah.
But the light in the house, while I was there, I was panicking because I was like, it's just it's really, really soft and really dark, and I was shooting at a really high ISOs.
Right.
And it turned out
it was gorgeous.
Yeah, the light was everything was so warm because it was sunset, and so just having that was like just
it fit the music too, you know. It just fit really well.
Beautiful. And so many of the films, like houses that I've shot in lately, have been like in new estates, new houses. So like there's no trees outside because it's too new, and I loved that this house was surrounded by like a canopy of trees. And so there was dappled light on the walls that I could get. And it was really, really nice. And I loved it. And I was so nervous when I did it. I walked away from that session, as you know, and I was like,
I remember
that was horrible. And I suck at all of it.
No, you went back and looked at the 20 seconds. I remember you were freaking out about it. Yeah. And look how good it is. You're amazing.
Turned out okay. Pretty happy.
Just happy.
Okay. So, that was that film. We'll add both of those to the show notes if you're listening in and you're like, what are they talking about? So you can go and have a look at those. I probably in future podcast episodes should have like the page already, so I could say, here's the URL to go to, but just go to filminglifeacademy.com/blog and you'll find all the stuff.
That's right.
And you can go back and watch other episodes or see show notes from the other episodes there too. So,
Yay.
Well, let's wrap this up. I think it's been so good to chat with you, and I'm so excited about the retreat. Doing the retreat with you, it's going to be amazing. I can't
wait. I can't believe it's so far away. I'm like, I want it to be like next month.
Yes. But it's good to have it all out there now. People can start preparing. So, we're thrilled. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you want us to talk about in future episodes, please let us know. Leave a comment on the show notes, or leave a comment. Email. You can always email me at Courtney@FilmingLifeAcademy.com, and send us your ideas or things that you want us to talk about more. Is there anything else that you can think of, Allison? Are we good?
We're good. This has been super fun, and hopefully the next time I talk to you, I will have done a birth film. So
yes.
I will.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for listening in.